Hi, I'm CJ Altenberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We appreciate you tuning in. So today we're going to look at a bumper pull. So maybe you're, wanting a high-end bumper pull trailer. We're not needing a big gooseneck, a lot of tack storage, or you're looking for a runaround trailer. Maybe you've got a big living quarters and it's just not as easy. Maybe running to some local shows, jackpots, to the vet, anything like that. These little trailers, they're worth their weight in gold, really. They're really handy to use. They really hold their value extremely well. So behind me is a 2022 Cimarron Norstar 2-horse bumper pull. So let's take a look at this. This isn't a big trailer by any means. We're only 15.3 on the floor. This is 7.1 tall. It's 6.10 wide. So the 6.10 wide, the 7.1 tall, those are the standard widths and heights on a Cimarron. And why that is, I'll show you when we get into the stall area. Some manufacturers will call theirs 7 foot wide. If there's no wheel wells on the inside of it, if you truly put a tape to it, it'll measure about that 6.9 3/4, 6.10 right in there as a true measurement. As this trailer sits, we will pull the official weight on it, but I'm going to estimate it's probably going to come in between that 2,600 to 2,800 pounds empty. So based on that, with all these half-ton pickups, smaller SUVs, as long as you have a brake controller, whether that's an integrated or an aftermarket, you're totally fine. This trailer is, can be towed by those with plenty of capability on these newer half-tons and, again, smaller SUVs. Now, you always need to look to see what your tow rating is just to confirm, because we are going to throw 2 head on here. We're going to be able to throw some tack. This has a water tank on it that I'll show you, so we can add some weight to it. But with that being said, more than likely, again, those newer half-ton, smaller SUVs can handle this trailer here. So right off the bat, you're going to have a manual hand crank jack there at the front. That is a 2 5/16 ball. We do have hitches here available, so when you do come, they're adjustable that a lot of people are running, or we'll actually set it on your vehicle and say, hey, you know what, you might have a 2-inch drop, but ideally we need a 4-inch drop. We do sell those here through our parts department, because what we'll want to do is eventually, when you get here and get hooked up, again, we want this trailer running level. You have 2 3,500 pound rubber torsion axles. We want to evenly distribute that weight on those 2 axles. So again, we want to make sure it's nice and level for you. We do a couple different tack setups on these bumper pulls. This has become a really popular one. So what you're going to actually have is you're going to have a swing out saddle rack. There's no rear tack that I'll show you when we get to the stall area on this trailer. That's our other popular option, is just a front dressing room with a folding rear tack, and then we can move the saddle rack between them. But on this one, for instance, you have a swing out saddle rack. So it makes things really easy, taking tack off of this, saddling horses, unsaddling, putting stuff away. These are adjustable, so since it's a 2-horse, you're going to get 2 pads standard, and then we like to put 2 blanket poles on there. Now again, I can adjust these, I can swap basically the sequence of them if I'd like to. For instance, on this one, me personally, I'd have my saddle racks a little bit lower. The reason why is hey, yes, we are out here on the ground. It's easier to throw saddles here than clear up there. It's a lot easier to throw blankets and pads up here on these. We can always add more. You can take these out. They're really easy to use, but boy, it sure is nice to be able to swing this out and have that capability. One of the other things that we're going to look at here is this is a 42-inch wide door. So this is bigger than standard, and the reason why is we want this bigger opening, because as we're swinging this in and out and we have saddles and our tack on here, the last thing we want it to do is hit a door frame. So there's plenty of clearance. As you can see, when I swing it in, even at our blanket pole, even though it extends farther than our saddle rack, there's still plenty of clearance. The other cool thing is look at, you can still get in that tack room right there. Some of these manufacturers will have a really narrow door, so even when this does swing out, it's really hard to get past it. But by doing this 42-inch wide door, again, it just makes it really easy getting in and out of this trailer. That's just on a gas shock. So when you push it in, it'll actually, once you get a breaking point, it'll suck back into the trailer. Same thing coming out. As you get over the breaking point, it'll just slowly extend out here. Got a door organizer for you. That way you can kind of, again, brushes, hoof picks, fly spray bottles, anything like that you can keep right there and handy. There's an LED light in there. It's actually right above the door, so you get plenty of light coverage into the tack area. You see a big long stretch of bridle hooks up there on the wall, and then we carpeted behind them. And there's multiple purposes as to why the carpet. The carpet helps from a noise standpoint. I mean, think about your tack rubbing against an aluminum wall, so it's metal to metal contact. So again, it creates a lot of noise. But then as your tack is swinging against that, it could potentially damage it, scuff it up, and that's not what we want. So that'll help that as well. There's that water tank I was referring to. It's a 25-gallon, just a gravity feed. You know, we were adding a lot of these water tanks on the trailers, and finally we just said, let's just go ahead and order them that way they're installed. Again, it's really nice from the standpoint of, you know, maybe you're headed to a trailhead to go trail riding, maybe you're going to an event, maybe you're just traveling in general. You know, it's nice to have water on hand for you. Maybe you have a finicky horse that only likes water from home. Maybe you park out, you know, a long ways from a hydrant. It's nice to have it here. Hey, sometimes we get stuck in traffic or waiting in line to check in somewhere where it's nice to have this water on board for the horses. But as you can see, that is a nice and roomy tack room there. Even with that saddle rack swung in there, there's still a lot of room just to walk around. I mean, you can easily get to your spare tire. You know, it's not buried behind everything to where then it's going to be a little bit harder getting it out if you need it. And then there's also a clothes rod off the ceiling up there as well, so you can hang some clothes. The other cool thing on this front tack is this step. We really try to incorporate steps on all these front tack rooms. That's something we've really put a lot of emphasis on here over the last couple years as far as inventory goes. It's a small upgrade, but it's a really nice upgrade. It's really nice to have, again, when you're jumping in out of this trailer. 16-inch load light. So that's actually a concept from Awnings that was taken years ago from them. Instead of the pedestal light that sticks up and protrudes up to where if you go underneath a tree, I mean, we've seen it time and time again, they come off where that thing's been just knocked off going underneath something. The 16-inch awning light shoots down and out, so you get a lot of coverage, and it's an LED light. Again, like I mentioned, two 3,500-pound rubber torsion Dexter axles, standard aluminum wheels on these Cimarrons. These are 15-inch wheels. They're nitrogen filled. That's what the green tab means. That means we're not getting PSI levels fluctuating drastically in different temperature changes. I mean, hot days on asphalt can heat up the tires. Cold nights, hot days, those are the things that can cause blowouts. And these nitrogen filled tires only allow that PSI level to change by a pound or two. Now, if you have to put air to these tires, you can. That's perfectly fine. But most tire manufacturers or tire companies will go ahead and be able to fill you with nitrogen. So try to go back to that if you can. You have a 1-year, no questions asked warranty on these tires. That is the vendor that Cimarron uses, called Lion's Head. So if you catch a nail, road debris, anything like that can't be patched, they'll send you a brand new tire, no questions asked. The other cool thing is these are bolt-on fenders that Cimarron does. So not as much labor intensive and cost if you do have an issue where you have to replace that actual fender itself. You know, we're not having to cut off the welds and re-weld the new one on. You basically cut the silicone and then unbolt, bolt the new one on, hook up your lights, silicone, you're done. So from a cost standpoint, it really helps there as well. Now we touched briefly on those wheels and tires. Warranty on the trailer itself through Cimarron is an 8-year structure with a 3-year hardware warranty. All aluminum constructed trailer. This is the best floor on the market. It is a 12-inch extruded piece that locks in high and low, 4-inch centers. So wherever you have a horse standing on this floor, they're standing on a support beam. as centers and trailers get a little bit cheaper, those centers start spreading apart, which then, you know, horse isn't standing on a support beam, where that's where you'll get those pits and waves over time. Dual 50/50 doors back here. Excuse me, 60/40. Our left-hand door is 40, our right-hand door is 60 from a percentage standpoint, because it is nice to be able to just keep this left-hand door shut if you'd like to, open up the right door, back in and out. You know, it gives you a little bit more room if you're not wanting to open this left-hand door. But the cool thing is like we have it shown right here, is when you open it up, this is a really nice, big, inviting stall area here. The other cool thing is you can use this for other purposes. So maybe you've got some toys that you want to haul. By having the ability to open this completely up, not having to deal with the rear tack, again, nice and big and open. And we actually add a little bit of length to this rear stall. And the reason why is this is a solid divider here. So it's not a telescoping. We like solid dividers if we can, but by having this extended a little bit more, now I can swing that against the driver's side wall there, and I can shut the rear doors and have that inside of it. It's not sticking out, you know, about this far off. Well, then what do you it kind of defeats the purpose of this stall area here. Kick mats all the way around. You've got your bus windows on hip wall. Cimarron really does a good job on trying to get as big of bus windows as we possibly can. Now granted, only half of it open, but what I've seen is a lot of manufacturers, this half that's open on a Cimarron will be the whole window on another manufacturer. So then you're cutting your air opening up even smaller in those type of instances. 2 LED lights. Your insulated roof. Now we haven't touched on that yet, but that is really important. I always say it's the icing on the cake, because, you know, it tops off this trailer. But what it does is it's really, really stout. I can walk on this roof, it won't dent it. It'll take substantial hail, but most importantly, it keeps the stall area cooler, about 20% cooler than an aluminum sheeted roof. So just imagine on a real hot day. I mean, again, I like bringing customers in and bouncing them between trailers on a hot day, taking them from a Cimarron to an to an aluminum roof trailer, and they will notice a major temperature difference here in these stall areas on these horse trailers, because they're all sealed up. But it does make a big difference. And then we have two-way roof vents, so we can kind of manipulate airflow. On you know, hot days we can force air in. When you get into the winter months, you can actually open them to release as hot air rises from the horses themselves, getting that stuff out of here. So they're not, you know, getting sweaty if it is shut up. It'll release that air out of here. And then the other thing is, and I know it's hard for you to tell, but you can run your hands over everything and everything's nice and smooth. They put a lot of emphasis on horse safety, animal safety, but nothing protruding out, no 90-degree angles, nothing sharp. You know, we really try to keep these animals as safe as we possibly can, and Cimarron does a great job of that. And also you. So as you saw how easy that was, but with this paddle latch, really simple to use. Again, we're not having to hold a horse in place, trying to get a divider in place, dropping a pin in, have the potential of, you know, hurting you or them. It's really easy to release. It'll swing over to the wall, but this is a cast aluminum piece. It's powder coated. And like I mentioned when we were in that tack room with the carpet, this is a heavy UHMW paddle latch. So plastic paddle latch, we're not having the metal to metal contact that'll create that rattle and a lot of noise. And also wear out parts. When metal and metal rub against each other over time, they'll just wear on each other and wear out. So again, just a really nice setup here in this stall area. Again, these trailers can be used for dual purposes. We can do add-ons after the fact. So if you have a horse that likes a rear ramp, we can do that. We just remove the rubber bumper. It attaches to where that rubber bumper it currently sits, welds on, folds up over the rear doors. The other cool thing is then you can use it for those toys as well if you go that route. We talked about the bus windows in the stall area. Now here on the driver's side, you get a good look at this big, massive opening with these drop head windows here. The jail bars even fold down. So maybe you want to throw a feed bag in there, give them a drink of water, maybe you're stopped, just want them to be able to stick their heads out, you can. But they're real easy to use. They're real heavy duty. This is all framework right here. So doors and windows all have this massive framework from Cimarron. And why that's important is these pieces will hold up over time. Prefab windows just kind of wobble in your hand, so you can imagine over time the potential of those breaking, having to replace them, to where this is big and heavy duty. Everything heavy duty we possibly can is a good thing. I mean, we're going to use these drop windows every time we use this trailer, more than likely. Same on the doors. On the back doors, it's that same framework. There's actually a picture of Cimarron picking the back of a 3-horse gooseneck up with just the door and a floor jack, and it did not tweak the door at all. I mean, that's how stout these guys are. Like, you can imagine picking up a 3-horse gooseneck with a rear door. A lot of manufacturers would not try that. But again, nice and heavy duty, really easy to use, real solid, you know, seal when we go ahead and shut them. Welded hinges with grease zerks, so easier to maintain. The welds are phenomenal on this. The fit and finish on a Cimarron is second to none. You know, everything, even from the side sheets, you know, that we try to eliminate as many rivets as we can. Obviously on these radius type noses here, you'll notice some a little bit on the polished front, and then these side sheets as they get back. As you get back into the trailer, everything's seamless. They use a 3M tape that they use on jumbo jets. So when you get it in place and put that roller on there, you're gonna need an air chisel to get it broke loose. That's how stout that 3M tape is. So if you are interested in this trailer, I'm gonna give you the stock number. Again, it's a 2022 Cimarron Norstar 2-horse bumper pull. Stock number is 5N210214. We've got more of this trailer on order down the line. We've got some with that folding rear tack. We can always build you something. So feel free to give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. Our number is 303-684-3400. We appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.